Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Thank you for joining Prajna Foundation Talk of the Week. Today we have the resource person, Mrs.Sushma, who is an assistant manager, HR, and I'm very happy and delighted to welcome her for our Talk of the Week program, which we are continuously doing since we started our foundation. The art and science of the recruitment process. So today we will understand how the recruitment process works, and I want Sushma to introduce herself.
Hi all, I'm Sushma. So I've been in HR industry from past 14 years. I have worked on all the modes of HR, starting from the recruitment to the exit formalities. So that is the brief introduction of myself. Currently, I'm associated with the organization named Donata, which is a part of Emirates Group. So that's a short introduction of myself.
Today we are diving deep into a world of recruitment, a process that shapes the very backbone of any organization. Instead of a traditional lecture, we designed with this as an interactive question and answer session, a conversation where we can get a candid insights and practical advice. So without further ado, let's begin with the session. Once again, I thank Mrs. Sushma for
Thank you so much.
being
Thank you
here.
for giving me this opportunity to interact with you.
Thank you. To start with, a broad perspective, how has the core philosophy of recruitment evolved in recent years, sir? Is it still just about filling vacancies, or has it transformed into something more strategic?
So yeah, when I initially started my career into HR, or rather specifically into talent acquisition, it was a very different or very small world of the recruitment is what we had. There was no much competition like the way that we have it now. So if one resource was looking for a job, it was kind of only 4 or 5 companies is what they were hiring for that particular skill. But now the scenario has completely changed, wherein if you have one candidate who's looking for a job, and I say one candidate, rather I would say someone who is competitive enough or skilled enough to be hired, you will have many competitors to hire them. So the candidates definitely know their value, that this is where they stand, and in order to attract such resources, the talent acquisition person should be very capable. So and see, it's just not about getting the profiles from the Naukri, talking to the candidates, and putting them across the interview. That's not what the HRs do, if that is what the perspective that you have. So it has evolved to the level wherein it's very important to have that bonding with the candidates that we want to hire for our organization. That the kind of bonding has, if you are not going to treat them like a typical HR, you should literally treat them like friends, and you should keep them engaged in various ways, telling that what is the kind of opportunity or the career path that you can explore in our organization. These are small points which will definitely help being into talent acquisition. I'm sure if you adopt yourself into such strategies, and the moment something comes up your way, when the requirement comes to a talent acquisition person, we would have to strategize the various ways of fulfilling it, just not getting the person and making them fit into the organization. Now things have definitely changed. We want someone who has got that attitude to fit into the organization. That's what we're looking at. So I would say from past 14 years when I initially started, from what we are now, the HR perspective has totally evolved.
Okay. Following that thought, what would you say in a single biggest challenge companies face in attracting the right talent today, especially in the post-pandemic world?
So yeah, so post pandemic, it so happened that for few years the hiring was completely freezed. Then again, post pandemic, it so happened that the hiring was at its peak, wherein everyone wanted to attract the candidates, and they started offering a very attractive perks and salaries. So that is when there's a lot of difference before and after. So now we are in the phase wherein everyone are talking about recession, that we are kind of the hiring is freezed in many of the companies, there are layoffs and stuff. Then still, from my perspective, I would definitely say there are many more opportunities, for the someone who can be hired or employed. So someone who are not employable will definitely face an issue wherein they'll not find the right kind of job that they're looking at. Or see, especially in the recent times, it's very important for you to upskill yourself rather than being saturated. So that is something wherein every person has to keep themselves updated in whatever industry that they are in order to make themselves employable. So that's what the change that I've been seeing, wherein the technology has evolved a lot. So you would have to keep yourself updated, and for sure, you'll definitely find the opportunities that you are looking at.
Okay, great. We need to upskill ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, coming to the next follow-up question, resume and beyond. I want to ask about that. We often hear the phrase that look beyond the resume.
Correct.
So how do you assess them? Like in a short interview, how do you assess their ability or the job placement? Very short interview.
All right, so this is kind of tricky question. See, what happens is when the candidate appears for the interview, it just takes less than a couple of minutes for the HR to evaluate the candidates. If you're under the impression that if the interview is going to happen for a half an hour, not that the evaluator is going to evaluate for that entire half an hour. You will be evaluated in just the couple of minutes. The very first couple of minutes is very, very important if you're looking at impressing the interviewer. It's not about impressing the interviewer. It's just that whatever you are should reflect in you in that first couple of minutes. The next minutes, whatever that you talk, doesn't make much of a difference at all. So that is why I would say, resume, yes, that is something which talks about the skills that you hold, but beyond that, you would have to express whatever you are. That is more important. Your confidence is what should be reflected in you, and the way that you express yourself, the way that you communicate, and the way that you dress yourself. Everything matters a lot when you're appearing for the interview. If you're under the impression that I'll go wearing the t-shirt or the toned jeans, yet my skill can attract the interviewers, that is something which is a very wrong perspective that you have. So I would say if you're appearing for the interview, it's very important the way that you dress yourself, totally informal. And the way that you present yourself is something which really matters. The way that you introduce yourself, that should go in a flow, not like a parroted or by-hearted version. So that is something which is very, very important. And while you're asked about the technical questions, sometimes it so happens that you wouldn't have worked on the skill that they are looking at, but yet if you speak with that confidence here, or that kind of that I'm ready to learn is what is required. So if that kind of attitude or is shown, and the way that you express yourself, if you're very confident, then no HRs or no ops person can actually reject you. So that is what I really want to let you know, because in my career I've come across many candidates who says I've got that skills, I've got the skills, wherein that definitely not reflect when they're talking to you. So recently I came across a candidate who says I've got very good communication skills. That is when I said, but that was not shown while he was communicating with me. He, in fact, one of my subordinate interviewed him, and he wanted me to interview him because he was very confident that he can definitely clear the interview. But when he was put across to me in the interview process, he said, "Ma'am, it's just that I'm a little nervous, so I'm unable to express myself completely. So I definitely want one more chance. I can definitely learn better." So yeah, see, if being a human being, I definitely want to give a chance to every person who wants to give it a try. But then being a HR, I exactly know this is what my organization wants. So that way I cannot be giving an opportunity for someone who's not suitable for this role. If there was something wherein, I can accommodate him, I would be definitely more than happy to do that. But then I might not be in the position to do that, but because my organization perspective is also something which I need to understand, being an HR. So that way, equal opportunities cannot be given to everyone. So
Yeah.
it's very important for you to upskill or get yourself prepared for the skill or for the interview that you are appearing for.
Okay, it was great that you have taken a case study or an experience of a HR and a candidate. So adding up to that, I have another question on candidate experience. Let's flip the perspective of the candidate. Okay, a poor recruitment process can damage a company's brand. Okay, what are the ones or two simple yet often overlooked things a company can do to ensure every candidate, even if they are rejected once, has a positive experience?
So yeah. So as I told you, the HR, cannot be really someone who says, you are just a reject and send them back, or just telling them that I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah. Technology from AI powered screeners to LinkedIn plays a huge role now. From your experience, what is one technological tool that has been a game changer for you, and what is one pitfall or bias we must be cautious of when using it?
Okay, so technology, as you said, is definitely a game changer even in the recruitment industry. But then technology will definitely have its limitations again. Unlike human beings, even human beings has got the limitations, and the technology as well has got its limitations. So you should know where to use the technology and where not. So I would say the biggest game changer in the recruitment industry is definitely AI. So, like the ways that other employees are losing their jobs for AI, the HRs are also losing their jobs for AI. But then, what happens is initially there are apps, the AI driven apps, which has come in even for the field of recruitment, wherein which says that this is the suitable candidate, this is the person who possess the required qualities which the HRs are looking for or the organization is looking for. But it so happens that many a times the AI can, the judgment might be wrong. It's not always correct. So we are also using the technology, something called as highway assessment, wherein the questions will be asked by the computer and the candidate is supposed to be answering it to the camera. So the experience is very different. Just rather than just answering to the camera or having the person for the face-to-face interaction is a very different experience. It so happens that the candidates gets more nervous because there's no one to comfort them and no one to have that very casual interaction at the beginning, make them comfortable, and then start asking the formal questions. So that's what the human beings or the HRs are supposed to be doing, wherein they can definitely not give that comfort level to the candidates. It so happens that they'll definitely get nervous. The true being doesn't come out when they answer it to the camera or the machine. So that is something, is the pitfall, is what I would say. So every technology that comes in will definitely have its own advantages and the disadvantages. The same way the AI or the other technologies will definitely have its advantages and disadvantages as well. It's definitely the HR or the person concerned will be the right person to judge as to what technology or what the kind of strategies that they're supposed to be using for the every requirement that comes in. So it's all left to the perspective or the strategies that the HRs are going to come up with.
Okay, it's beautifully told. It's a the essence, the human touch is very much essential for a candidate to be very comfortable and then getting ready for the interview process.
Correct.
Yeah, I cannot do that. It's one of the pitfall. Great. Let's go to the next question. Finally, let's look ahead. What is one trend or skill in recruitment that you believe will become absolutely essential in the next 3 to 5 years that we should all be paying attention to it?
So, see, trend is something which keeps coming every year or 6 months, in every technology. So, if you're actually looking at, then, again, since the AI is playing its role, so I would definitely say that you should be prepare yourself to answer it to the machine and let the machine be your evaluator rather than sitting in front of the HR, because these times we are not just hiring for the person who is just from the same place that the company is located at. So happens that we kind of the entire pan India or the entire world is one place. So that is why we cannot always expect the candidates to come for the face-to-face discussion. So the machine plays a very major role. That is when just keep yourself prepared to answer it to the machine, wherein the machine is going to be your evaluator. So get adjusted that way. Make yourself really confident while you are in front of your system or your mobile phone. Just treat that as a human being is what I would say.
Okay, from your experience, if you can share to a new upcoming HR team, the candidate, a student who's seeing here our video, or a entrepreneur who wants to learn something from a HR, what is that one tip you can give so that it will handhold them in beginning their career and prosper throughout the journey?
Okay. So for the HRs, the networking is something which is very important. They should have a broader networking. So that is something which really matters for them. So when you start your career, of course, you will be a fresher. You don't know anyone in the industry. So, but as and when you've started or you really want to be in HR, start building that network or be really good to the people. That is something which is very, very important. So just sitting in front of the portal, screening, sourcing, everything, everyone can do it. So that is not what is expected out of a typical HR or, from the person who is into talent acquisition. So it's very important wherein you will build that, the skill of talking to people or have that bonding with people. That is what makes you different from the other people or in the different teams that they're working in. So this is what differentiates between you and the other department. So that bonding or the way that you talk, they express yourself and be really friendly or keep them engaging. This is what makes a lot of difference being into HR.
See, have a sensible or very delicate question. See, in our Indian school system or in our college system, where government schools are there and little private schools are there, government colleges and private colleges are there. Very small group of people are only polished to address this kind of standard HR team, or they get some little training to face the interview, but how can we inculcate? See, when we design an academic syllabus, okay, we only see as a technical science background or commerce background what is required for the industry. That is what we frame out. But today, most of the institutions are outsourcing an HR team to train them. Do you really prefer them? And that is one question. Pardon me, because see, there are connective network of questions over here. Few organizations, they are capable and they are recruiting or consultants who can train the candidates to face this kind of HR team after the graduation or within the graduation process when they are in the edge of completing their degree. But when we look at our India, Bharat, Today we are talking about technological enhancement, and India is also growing in GDP. Most of the villages with lesser known crowd, the village children, they don't have this kind of facility because they are studying in government colleges. I'm not talking about in one state. In most of the cases.
Understand.
So, in your perspective, how can you just throw some light on these things? Yeah.
So I definitely believe that everyone should get that equal opportunity, but unfortunately India is not that very developed wherein everyone is going to get that kind of exposure that is really required, which makes them more skilled or the more employable. So that is when the technology comes into picture, right? That is when this YouTube videos or the foundations that you guys are doing. So this is something which will definitely help, is what I believe in. So this kind of videos should reach everyone, and moreover, see, not everyone will be in the position to understand English in a country like India. So it's very important to connect with them in the local language that they're aware of, and slowly make them understand the language that we are talking. So that is very important. So that is when we should start that small era wherein we'll connect with the localites in their local language, train them, and make them understand this is what is required for the current generation in order to be employed. So that is very important. In fact, I've met many candidates from the remote villages of Karnataka who kind of has got that confidence. It still lacks in their English. The moment they'll talk, I very well understand what is their mother tongue, because that's the kind of mother tongue influence that they have. I mean, see, that is something gradually which you would have to try to overcome, because many will be under that impression that my English is really good. Why is that they feel that they cannot consider me? That's the kind of confidence that they have. See, that's really good for you, but end of the day, if someone says this is what my inputs are, you should have that open mindset to accept it as it is, and try to overcome all the pitfalls that you have or the weaknesses that you have. You should be the first person in order to understand your weaknesses and try to overcome it. So take inputs from the people who has got more experience than what you have, and try to work on it and overcome all the weaknesses. And I'm sure there's nothing which is impossible in this world. It's just that we lack knowledge, and let's enhance or work towards enhancing our knowledge is what I would say. And yeah, we would have to see, being human beings, whatever contribution that we could make to the society, let's do that. Just sitting in front of the camera, you and me can talk whatever that comes to our mind, but that little efforts is something which we should also start in order to educate people or eradicate the knowledge, is what I totally believe in.
Great. Totally, it was an incredible insight, and which was packed with actionable advice. So thank you, Sushma, on behalf of Prajna Foundation and everyone here. Thank you for demystifying the recruitment process and for sharing you an individual wisdom with us today. So if you have any questions, you can comment us in your comment box. It is being answered very shortly with a resource person, and I'll try to collect mom's email ID, and I'll just post it in a description. You can just contact her in person, and if you can have any questions asked, you can email her. I hope she'll answer.
Of course, I will for sure. I'll be more than happy to do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Jai Bharat.
Jai Bharat.